Being confident is actually easy. If confidence feels hard for you, it's not because you lack confidence. It's because you're trying to perform it, acting confident instead of staying present. Most people think confidence is something you add. More energy, more talking, more presence. That's why it feels exhausting and why it never lasts. Confident people aren't doing more. They're removing the behaviors that create pressure. In this video, I'm going to break down 7 things confident people consistently do. Not personality traits, not fake extroversion, but simple behaviors that make confidence feel natural instead of forced. And at the end, I'll show you the one shift that connects all 7 so confidence stops feeling like effort and starts feeling automatic. Point number 1, they choose environments that fit them. Confident people don't force themselves into rooms where they have to pretend. They don't confuse discomfort with growth. And they don't believe confidence only counts if it happens in loud, high-pressure settings. Instead, they choose environments where their natural energy already works. That might be a quiet coffee shop instead of a crowded party, a small group instead of a big room, a one-on-one conversation instead of a performance. This matters because confidence isn't just internal, it's situational. When you're constantly fighting the environment, your nervous system stays on edge, constantly tense and alert. But when the setting fits you, confidence shows up without effort. And once you stop fighting the room, something interesting happens. Your attention shifts outward. That leads directly to the next point. Point number 2, they listen longer than they speak. Confident people aren't in a rush to talk. They don't feel pressure to fill the silence, prove themselves, or jump in with a perfect response. They let conversations breathe. This immediately changes how people experience them. When someone feels fully listened to, they feel valued. And when people feel valued, they naturally lean in. Ironically, confident people often speak less. But when they do speak, people pay attention. It's not a trick, it's a signal. Listening tells the other person, I'm not here to impress you, I'm here with you. And once you stop trying to sound interesting, you unlock something even more powerful. Point number 3, they ask better questions instead of saying better things. Most people approach conversations thinking, what should I say? Confident people ask a different question. What should I ask? They understand the connection doesn't come from delivering impressive statements. It comes from curiosity. So instead of defaulting to small talk, they ask questions that invite real engagement. Not interrogations, not clever one-liners. Just questions that give the other person space to open up. Questions like, what got you interested in that? What's been the most rewarding part of that for you? How did you end up going that direction? When you ask questions like this, pressure disappears. You're no longer performing, you're participating. If this way of thinking is helpful, you'll probably want more of it. I post videos like this on communication, confidence, and staying clear under pressure. So you can subscribe if that's something you want to keep building. And once you start thinking this way, you begin to notice another pressure confident people quietly avoid, one most people never even realize is there. Point number 4, they don't chase approval mid-conversation. Confident people aren't monitoring themselves while they talk. They're not watching for facial reactions, second-guessing every sentence, or mentally adjusting their personality in real time. They're present. Approval chasing pulls attention inward. Presence pushes attention outward. And the moment your attention turns inward, how am I doing? Did that land? Did they like me? Confidence collapses. Confident people trust the interaction enough to stay in it. They don't need instant validation. They don't need to win the moment. They let the conversation unfold naturally. That inner calm shows up externally, and it affects more than just what you say. Point number 5, they speak slower than they think they should. One of the clearest signals of internal pressure is rushed speech. When someone talks quickly, it's often not enthusiasm, it's urgency, a subtle fear of losing the moment. Confident people don't rush. They pause. They leave space between thoughts. They allow silence without filling it. This doesn't make them boring, it makes them grounded. Slower pacing communicates control, not dominance, but steadiness. And here's the interesting part. When you slow down, others often mirror you. The entire interaction becomes calmer. But all of this still points to a deeper shift that confident people make, one that removes pressure at the source. Point number 6, they stop trying to look confident. This is the turning point. Confident people stop managing how they're perceived. They're not thinking, do I look confident right now? They're thinking, am I engaged in what's happening? The moment you try to look confident, you split your attention. Part of you is in the conversation, and part of you is watching yourself from the outside. That split creates tension, and people feel it. Confidence isn't something you display, although sometimes you do, but it's something people experience around you. And the fastest way to lose it is to monitor it. But even once you stop performing, there's one more habit that separates stable confidence from fragile confidence. Point number 7, they recover quickly instead of replaying moments. Confident people don't avoid awkward moments. They just don't replay them. Everyone says something that doesn't land. Everyone has a conversation that ends a little flat. Everyone has a moment they wish went differently. The difference is what happens next. Most people mentally rewind the moment. Why did I say that? That came out wrong. They probably thought that was weird. That mental replay drains energy and carries tension into the next interaction. Confident people mentally close the loop, accept it, let it go, and move on. Not because they don't care, but because they don't punish themselves for being human. They understand that confidence isn't about flawless execution. It's about emotional recovery. When you stop dragging yesterday's moments into today's conversations, your nervous system stays regulated. You stay present. And presence is what people consistently read as confidence. Now, I'm curious, which one of these 7 stood out to you the most? Or which one do you feel like you've been making harder than it needs to be? Once you step back, the pattern becomes obvious. Confident people don't add behaviors. They remove pressure. They choose environments that fit. They listen instead of perform. They ask instead of impress. They stay present instead of chasing approval. They slow down instead of rushing. They stop managing perception. And they move on instead of replaying. That's why confidence feels easy for them. Not because they're louder, not because they're extroverted, not because they never mess up, but because they stopped solving the wrong problem. Confidence was never something you had to build. It's what shows up when you stop getting in your own way. And if this way of thinking is useful to you, you're going to find that this next one goes a bit further into building confidence when you're dealing with difficult people, especially the toxic ones. I'll see you there.